Well, my next guest needs very little introduction. She's a brilliant journo in her own right and a fierce advocate, of course, for online safety. And as you'll see her here now every Monday, joining me on Credlin, she knows better than most what ordinary people are thinking about on the big sort of political issues, particularly in election year. Sky News contributor Erin Molan joins me now from Sydney. Well, welcome to the show. I hope you've rested up over the summer, Erin. It's going to be a hell of a big year, and I'm relying on you to give us political insiders like me a bit of a reality check on where real people might be outside of this Canberra press gallery and all the polls. Are you up for it?
Peter, I covered rugby league for nearly 2 decades. Challenge me. I reckon I'll be all right. I'm really, really excited about this.
I reckon you're in the real world.
Yeah, absolutely. I sit at the back of aeroplanes as well. I can assure you of that. No, I think this is a really important segment, and particularly in the lead up to an election. I don't know about you. In fact, I'm confident you would feel the same. But the amount of times I might watch a show or read an article that supposedly represents how Australians feel about an issue and realise that I don't relate to that at all. That doesn't reflect the opinions of me or the people that I talk to every day. So what I love about this is we're hitting the streets, and no, we're not just going into the Sky News car park to get opinions that we think might be the same as ours. We're getting a cross-section of society, talking to them about what actually matters to them, what they think about real issues for everyday Australians, and it's really exciting. So thank you for having me.
I'm delighted. Okay, we're going to call this segment Word on the Street with Erin Molan. Let's have a listen. See that, Erin?
Yes.
We've got a sexy little sting for you there. Okay, what have you got for us tonight?
Well, I mean, the biggest topic of today is obviously the Newspoll results, and to say they were unflattering for the government is putting it very politely. Two-party preferred, obviously a real issue. Probably more of concern to them would be preferred PM. So we hit the streets of Australia to ask everyday people what their reaction was to these results. Take a look.
It's a tough time, I guess, to be in charge, yeah. So you can't please everyone.
It's not a job that everybody can do, and I think within reason he's done what he can.
I'm not at all surprised. The rollout with the antigen tests, that's been messed up, and the fact that we also didn't have vaccines in good time.
He's the stupidest Prime Minister we've ever had.
Still making up my mind. I'm an undecided voter.
I think that Labour will win.
I'll probably Liberal. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably still will vote for Scott Morrison. Yeah, because I think overall he's still done a good job.
I can't see Albanese winning. I really can't.
Scott for Prime Minister, no doubt.
So a real mix there, and Dennis Shanahan was speaking earlier on your show and spoke about what matters to Australians at the moment, and that was COVID, followed by the economy. I think as over the next few months, and particularly after the Beijing Olympics, when you look at escalations in China, you look at Russia and Ukraine, I think national security will become more of an issue to everyday Australians, the ones that I speak to every day, absolutely, and I think that will favour the coalition. But Scott Morrison needs to fight. You said that earlier, and I think you've absolutely nailed it.
It's interesting looking at those people there. You know, that was a better result for the government than the polls would suggest, the published polls would suggest. But interestingly, there was a lot of younger people that were backing in the Liberals, and it looks like there's a loss of the older vote, and that mirrors a different issue, of course. That was COVID, and Dennis was talking about net zero 2050, but it mirrors the results in Newspoll, the detail in Newspoll, where there's been a fall away in older Australians. Now, I'm sure you're a sporto. I'm not so much a sporto. I'm pretty good at watching it. Lots of sport over summer. Pretty amazing tennis over the weekend. But by God, I tell you what, Ash Barty.
Isn't she absolutely incredible? And look, I'm a little bit tired. Nadal, a 5.5 hour absolute epic, one of the greatest comebacks of all time. But Ash Barty was the real hero of our Australian summer and the start of the tennis and the Australian Open. She's just a superb individual, a very proud Indigenous Australian. And there's one thing she said before we hit the street and find out what other people thought that really jarred me, and it shouldn't have. Take a listen to this.
I mean, this is just a dream come true for me, and I'm so proud to be an Aussie. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next time.
So a young Australian woman, a superstar athlete, says she is so proud, an Indigenous young woman, she's so proud to be an Aussie. And I couldn't believe that I was hearing it. I was so happy to hear that, because it almost feels like you should be ashamed to be proud to be Australian. And she's such a great role model. She's such a superhero. I've actually written a column on this in the Daily Telegraph on Wednesday, so make sure you pick that up and have a look. But let's take a look at what everyday Australians thought about Ash Barty. And look, unlike the poll, she was well ahead.
It was an amazing, amazing performance. So humble,
The way she carried herself and really breathed life into what she was saying about her purpose isn't just winning tournaments. It's actually much greater than that, and sort of her life journey. You saw that come through. Brilliant win, brilliant.
It's fantastic. Love it, yeah. And anything, you know, #1 Australian, it's fantastic. It was really, made me feel proud, yeah.
The fact that she's won is just, there's no words to describe it, eh?
No, she's a true Aussie, and, you know, really she's done fantastically for the country, for herself. She's a role model to all the young girls. Well done, Ash.
Go Ash Barty, huh?
Go Ash Barty! Ready, Fatty?
And what I love so much about that, it's not just the young girls who look up to her, it's young boys and young girls and every single Australian, and so they should. So cheers to you, Ash Barty, something to really cheer about, and what an incredible performance from the, you know, the special Ks as well. All of the Australians were just phenomenal.
I'll tell you what Erin Molan beautifully said there about Australia Day, about being proud to be Australian, Ash Barty's words, because I feel like we've been through the ringer over Australia Day. If you listen to the elites and you listen to the vast bulk of the media, but poll after poll I saw in the last 10 days say Australians don't want that date to change. And I think Barty, who would have more grievance than most if you listen to the zeitgeist, was absolutely spot on. Thank you for your time. Look forward to having you on the show every Monday. Erin Molan, there she is, the brilliant Erin Molan, Sky News contributor, and here with me every Monday night.